So in today's video, we are going to address a challenge that was brought to light by one of our members in our free community, that is of a school. Yeah. So she says she's facing a challenge of pricing versus what she thinks her clients will pay. And if you're out there and you're going through the same phase, you're going through or facing the same challenge, then this is one of the most important videos you'll ever get to watch on the internet. So with that being said, let's dive in. But before we get to do that, if you're watching me for the first time, I'm Alan. I help solopreneurs and new entrepreneurs get to start, grow, and scale their businesses. So when I read this in our community, I thought to myself, if it was me, how would I be willing to do away with such a challenge? To zoom out, there are basically three things that I'll ever think of that would help me do away with this challenge. And these are the ones we are going to share in this video. Okay, so the first thing that came to mind, I had to think through the perspective of a client. What would the clients get to pay for? That would be the first thing. And in fact, you have to know this as that number one takeaway from this video is that your clients do not pay for your time. In fact, your clients do not get to pay for the number of hours you get to work or the number of products you get to sell them. They don't do that. Okay. In fact, if there's anything that your clients will ever want to pay for, it will be either one of these three things I'm about to mention. That is one, savings. Yeah? It would be you saving them some time or you saving them some amount of money. Yeah. The second thing would be certainty. That is the likelihoodness of working with you to get a particular result. Yeah. If you're helping, let me say, CEOs or CMOs de-risk their launches, then what is the likelihoodness of that happening? Yeah. Then the third one, and the most important one, is the revenue that you get to bring them. Let's say they employ you. How much money are they going to save? Or how much money are they going to make if they choose you as their number one partner as far as working with them is concerned? Okay, so I want to give you an example. Maybe this practical example will help us try to understand very clearly what this is. Okay, let's say a chief marketing officer approaches you, yeah, but before she does or before he does, regardless of the gender, he already has a budget of 5M to spend on launching whiteboard markers, yeah, or launching a campaign of whiteboard markers, and their goal or their objective is to get this to be a successful launch and then maybe make about 2x the initial budget. Remember, the initial budget was 50 million, and then they want to launch it to be a successful one, and then they make up 100 million plus. Okay, so when they get to hire you, these are the three things they expect. One, they expect you to save them time. Instead of them doing the donkey work, running here, running there, trying to put together all the chain links of what makes a successful launch, they choose to hire you. In other words, they have hired you because they expect to save time. They expect you to save them some time. And that is the first thing, saving. The second thing, when they choose to work with you, they expect the likelihoodness of their launch being successful to be as high as possible. Because you already pitched to them and said, yeah, you have the experience, you got all it takes to get their launches to be as successful as possible. So when they choose you amongst all the many, they expect the likelihoodness of the certainty of having a successful launch to be as high as possible. Yeah. So the third one will be the revenue you'll get to deliver them. Remember, we said they wanted to have a successful launch, which will double their budget they had initially, and that is 100 plus M. Okay. Now, here's what happens. If you get to work with them and you save them one failure and you got their launching campaign to be as successful as possible, and on top of that, got them to have or make 100 M plus, okay, that is 100 million plus, then when you choose to pay or when you choose to charge them about 5 or 6M, that to them that would be like a cheat. In fact, it will feel like the cheapest because the amount of money you've made them, the saving or the time you've saved them, and the certainty or the likeliness of their business or their campaign launch being successful, that would be like a cheat. In fact, they wouldn't even mind about the 6M. And if your target is anywhere between earning maybe 3 to 4 to 6M, then that would be a good way to go about it. Yeah. In fact, if you can get about 2 to 3 clients in a month and you made them achieve all this saving, certainty, and revenue, I mean, do the math. In a year, how much money would you have made? The takeaway from this point is your clients don't get to pay for your time. They only pay for 3 things. If you save them some time or money, if you get them to achieve high certainty about certain things in their organization or their business, and if you get them to make more money or bring them more revenue in whatever aspects or in whatever business that they're doing. Yeah. So if you want to break their willingness barrier to pay for your good or for your service or for whatever thing you're offering, then get to tick all those 3, right? Forgive me for interrupting this video, but if at all you want some coaching like this, or if at all you have some challenges that you want to be addressed, please consider joining our free school community. I'll be leaving the link in the description below. Now, the second thing you need to understand if you want to break the willingness barrier of your clients to pay versus what you think they should pay is that you've got to always use the price ladder. I'm going to explain this in detail, okay? Now, not all clients will manage to pay for the services or to pay for the offer that you get to pitch them. Yeah. So when that happens, just know it's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. And also, in the occurrence of such situations, it doesn't mean that you always have to lower your price. Yeah. Because if you do, that will be the biggest mistake you'll ever make in your entire business life. Okay. Because when you get to do that, it basically signals that you're a person of low value. Yeah? And that is something you didn't want to communicate to your clients. Yeah? If you set your standards, stick to it. Yeah? So how do you get to even address the challenge of people, or most of the people, not willing or managing whatever offer you present to them? The best case solution that I thought of in an instance is to create tiers. Yeah. So what are tiers? So basically, it's like having 3 levels of pricing in your business. Yeah. For instance, you could create a starter tier, you could create a core tier, and you could create a premium. Think of all softwares. Yeah, they get to have a free tier, they get to have a premium tier. Those are 2. Others get to have 3. Yeah, so they give you a testing beta or beta test kind of subscription. Then they upgrade you to a cheaper option, then a more premium option. So in your business, if you're facing with most challenges, or if you're facing with the biggest problem of maybe engaging with the clients that are not willing to pay for whatever it is that you're offering them, try to use the price ladder. Yeah. So relating back to the same example of you're working with CMOs. So suppose you pitch to about 1,000 CMOs, and they're not even sure of whether they will, go in for your service or not. Why not just break your offer or create some pricing ladder of putting 3 offers on the table? Practically, an example would be, I would say I have 3 tiers. One, that is a starter tier, where I get to work on just one idea that you get to have, and then get it all through till the end. Yeah, that would be one. The second tier would be my real core offer that if I work with you, I usually take about 2 to 3 ideas that we test and then find the best and then get to work with it until when you get the results. Okay? And then lastly would be our premium offer. For this, I could say you can bring in as many ideas as you can, and we only work quarterly. Yeah, maybe 3 months, 4 months, yeah, every year. We can, whatever duration you want to work with them, but that would be it. Yeah. And truth be told, if you get to show this to most of those clients, most people are most likely to choose their preference. Yeah. It means you've broken the barrier of people saying, oh, maybe it's so expensive, I can't afford that. If it's the budget constraint, then they'll go for the starter because it's just one idea and most likely it's the cheapest. If they have some moderate medium budget, they'll go for your offer. And they have the money. If money isn't a problem, then they'll go for the premium. Yeah. So the other thing you also need to note about the tiers is that it's most likely, in most cases, that when you get to present all these three tiers, most people will go for your core offer because no one wants to test just one idea. What if it fails? And no one would want to spend on many ideas. That is too much. Most of them would want to narrow down to 1 to 3 ideas, and that is where your offer gets to take. Yeah. So the takeaway point, as far as this point is concerned, of trying to use price ladder, is always break down your offer or your offer pricing into 3 tiers so that you can cater for all members, for all prospects, for all ideal clients. And in most cases, it's going to be a win for you because most of them will choose to have your core offer. And that means they'll always be playing by your hand. Are you finding this video valuable? Just know which of these 2 points is resonating. Yeah. Anyways, let's go on to the last point. And that is you have to make risk reversal easy. All right. You have to remove all the fear of them trying to get to have you or them trying to work with you as their partner in business. Yeah. Now, maybe to drive this point, I'm going to give you an example. Let's still consider the previous example of you working with CMOs to de-risk their launches so that they get to save a lot of money, get lots of money, yeah, in relation to that top 3 that we spoke of. Okay. And let's say after you presented them with an offer, they say, oh, I'll go with the core offer. Then the next thing is that you have to seal the deal by making risk reversal easy. And when people are confident that, oh, if things go wrong, it is easier for me to reverse the transaction. It is easier for me to, step away from this and nothing gets to affect me. That is where they will even want to work with you the most. That is where they'll even want to spend the most money with you. Because maybe to some people, they don't give guarantees. Because risk reversal is simply giving guarantees that, oh, if this doesn't get to happen, I'll refund your money. If this doesn't get to happen, I'll work with you for free until you get the results. Yeah. So make it easy for them to reverse whatever risks they think they are going to have. Yeah. In fact, remove all the fears that they get to have. Imagine if you asked someone to give you money, but on top of that, you told them, if you don't get the results, then don't pay me. Do you know how many people will be willing to work with you? I bet many that you can't even handle. Okay, so this key point is really, really so important, and never ignore it. So just to recap, we said that if at all you want to break this barrier of unwillingness for the clients to pay in regards to what you think they can, always do 3 things. Always, first, keep it in mind that your clients don't get to buy your time. The second thing is always apply the price ladder so that you get to cater for a wide range of clients. And then third is that you have to make risk reversal easy. Make it easy to remove all the fears that your clients get to face. And when you do all those 3, I guarantee you'll never get to have any challenge or conflict of your clients being unwilling to work with you, regardless of the price that you get to charge. So, in the comment section, I want you to let me know, have you ever struggled with pricing? And what part of the struggle or what challenge are you facing? Just drop it down in the comments. But while at it, don't forget to join our free community where we get to address such issues with members of the same common goal. So, that being said, I'll get to see you in the next one.